Ladies and gentlemen from Rolling Stone. Oh, they're seething over this. Oliver Anthony's populist, polarizing Rich Men North of Richmond on track to debut at #1. The Virginia upstart's song about rich politicians and poor people abusing welfare is already atop the iTunes, Spotify, and Apple Music charts. He's got, what are they saying, 98,000 digital song sales, 7.8 million streams. I don't know where that'll put him on the Hot 100. It is very difficult to top that chart. But they say Morgan Wallen's Last Night, the reigning #1 from this week's Billboard chart and one of the biggest hits of the year, has 13 million streams, but just over 3,000 digital sales with 41 million airplay impressions. It's a major year for the genre, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's break this down. I could be wrong in my math, but I believe that one sale is 1,500 streams. So do the math and you'll calculate how many streams that Oliver Anthony actually has. But that 41 million airplay impressions, that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
That's basically the radio station saying we'll play your music. And of course, they're not going to get Oliver Anthony on there. It's going to be very difficult. Now, with the weight of the song, they might be forced to.
Oh, yeah.
But you know why he's I have a real simple reason why this song's doing so well and why they're so mad about it. What did the corporate music industry give us in terms of music? Wet ass pussy. Yeah, okay. That's the stuff that they tell you to listen to. Okay, fine. Adele is up there somewhere and Taylor Swift. And then you have that teeny bopper stuff from Harry Styles or whatever. It's not only just WAP or whatever, but this is the antithesis of WAP. So this is something that regular people who are sick of the disgusting Sodom and Gomorrah music and entertainment industry can now be like, hey, there's some music. Hey, I understand this. Hey, these words mean something to me. And that's pushing back. So this, you combine it with all the other cultural endeavors we've been winning on, and just feels good.
You know what I thought was fascinating? You put the headline up from Rolling Stone. For the first, I don't know, maybe 24, 48, 72 hours, he was a phenomenon. Everybody was excited. And then once the folks from the right, John Rich and others, sort of talked about him and made him a cause, the Rolling Stones of the world suddenly branded him. It was like, oh God, we were initially positive on this guy. The second that people on the right embraced him, what's the headline? Polarizing. He was polarizing in QAnon but for the first 24 hours, he was a rock star and, a savant. And, it was so funny to watch how quickly they shifted once folks on the right embraced the message and his success.
They're like, if you guys like him, we hate him.
Exactly.
There's nothing to do. I mean, I, for one, love to see ginger representation. I think redheads don't have enough place in the media.
Yeah, look at that beard.
Yeah, I feel like we should credit him as representing a very minority genetic group. Yes, thank you, Serge. But I think part of it, too, is, at least for me, again, this is the sort of the alternative country folk genre that I personally already like. But I think he's talented, right? So much of what's sort of astroturf right now in pop music is just like the same one verse with one bridge. It's all kind of electronically done. And maybe those singers and artists and songwriters have some talent on some level, but because it's supposed to appeal to the masses, they try to make it as simple and as, earwormy as possible. Whereas this is actually catchy. He's actually got a good voice. He's actually a talented musician. And that's more effective. Instead of sort of trying to make it this garbage song, giving giving the people something with feeling is really having an impact.
So I have a correction. It's not 1,500. It's 150. For every sale of Rich Men North of Richmond, that counts as 150 streams. So he's currently sitting at, with these numbers, we're looking at about 22.5 million streams. He's not going to beat these other radio guys. Now, he would, beat this other song. It only has 13 million streams and 3,000 sales. That ain't nothing. But they've got the radio behind them. So I can only tell you this, man. If you really like the song, y'all need to go on iTunes and buy it. And tell all your friends to buy it. Because if you're going to listen to it, look, we've talked about it with our music and everything, but I'm going to say this right now. I know you all love this song. I love this song. It's a great song. I had playing it on loop earlier. I was like, damn, this song's fantastic. Buy it. Spend that $1. Buy it. Go on iTunes, buy the song, tell all your friends to buy the song. Anyone you know who listens to it, you should say, hey, man, let's make this guy the superstar. Let's make him bigger than Cardi B, bigger than Taylor Swift, all you got to do is spend $1. That $1 counts as 150 streams. Let's get this song to debut platinum. I think he needs 75 to 150. I think he needs 150 million. He needs just about 8 times where he's currently at in terms of streams and purchases. So right now they're all seething. They're trying to argue that he's a plant.
Yeah, that's the
look at this
part.
intelligence, or look at this Oliver Anthony and the incoherence of right-wing populism. They're losing their mind over a factory worker turned farmer who wrote a country acoustic song. Dude didn't do anything to anybody. He wrote a song about how he feels, and they are losing their minds.
But this gets back to the Bud Light, the Target, right? In the last 24 months, give or take, I feel like conservatives have gotten their sea legs. We go out there and go, guess what? We're not going to take it. We're not going to shop, or we're not going to buy you. And then conversely, Sound of Freedom, Oliver Anthony, we go out there and go, all right, we support them. This is what's, I think we are finally starting to get it together. You actually don't like something, then stop going into the store. Stop buying the product. Don't just say, the heck with it. And for the things that we do like, and Tim, you're absolutely right. You go out, you spend that $1. At some point, they can't ignore it. And that's what happened with Sound of Freedom. And frankly, before that, The Chosen. And I know they've got a bunch more in the works at Angel Studios. But that's what's happening with this guy as well. It's $1 to make a difference. And that's what's going on. Is I get excited when I see success stories like this, because it just shows that we can do it. And I think that's frankly what's going on in media too. I tell people all the time, go look at what you guys are doing at Timcast. Look at what Patrick Bet-David's doing. All of these folks that the media doesn't want to pretend exist are unbelievably successful. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's like, you know what? I'm tired. The corporate stuff, it's not where the future is anymore. And I think if we band together and support each other when events like this come along, this is where I think we start to win again.
I love Oliver Anthony's performance. I think that song is pretty simple. It's like a verse, chorus, and it's just ends after that. So there's no bridge. There's no 3 parts that you would consider to make a hit. But the way he performs it is so real, visceral.
Less is more.
It changes you. And
raw.
like it's the kind of thing where he could tell you a bedtime story and it would be invigorating because of the way he tells it. Post Malone's like that. This guy's like Post Malone. He's got that posty energy. I love it.
He needs 1 million sales to be platinum. You need 150 million streams for platinum. I hope this song gets there.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest song in the world.
So where's
right
he
now.
at right now? What's the
20 some odd million and 98,000 sales. So he's at 10% of the sales needed. Look, debuting at platinum is a big ask. Songs go platinum after like a few years. Mm-hmm. Then they're like, hey, you finally reach that, you cross that mark where, you know, you've got enough plays of your song.
But it would be cool if he could do it, because he seems like someone who has strong values. I mean, he posted earlier today that he's launching, merch for this with a local t-shirt company from wherever he's from in Virginia. Like
Farmville.
I think that's cool.
Farmville.
Yeah.
He's from Farmville?
Yeah.
Yes.
And now you understand why people are like plant. You know what I mean? No,
we live in a
kidding.
simulation.
But I like that he is saying like I want to support other small businesses, and I think that is cool to see. It would be very easy for him to be like, people want my stuff, let me figure out the fastest way to get to them, or a big corporation that can help me out. And I would understand why he would do it. I just like that he's opting to work locally and small. That's a value that I would want to see in my own life.
Check
this out. They say, Fox News, Oliver Anthony says he's turned down $8 million offer since going viral.
Smart
Nothing
move.
special about me.
Yeah, dude, stay independent, brother.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just I will Roger up if you want to give me $8 million.
You'll really
They'll own you.
one record is coming.
All
right,
They'll cancel your show. It's not worth
Just
it.
so you know, if you saw me dance, my singing's worse than that.
Dude, I listened to his song like 4 or 5 times, this Richmond of Richmond, and it was like the 5th time I listened to it, something struck me. Like I just started shaking. I was like, I got goosebumps all through my body for like almost the entire song. But sometimes that's what happens. It takes a few times. You listen to something or you eat something a few times and it's an acquired taste.
It's real music.
Yeah.
So much music. Because we've been putting out music. Let me explain to you guys. We talk to these industry dudes and they say, you got to get on the DSPs, the digital streaming playlists. Mm-hmm. Once you're there, they'll automatically play your song for people if it's in a certain genre. And then you'll start getting play. And I'm like, I get it. If you're in the machine, if you are approved by the people who work for Pandora, for Spotify or whatever, if you're well known, they'll auto load your new song it will be guaranteed to get a certain number of hits, and then you're going to chart.
Yeah.
All the stuff we had to do when we released songs and we charted was asking people to like, hey, be active, listen to our music. So we're fighting through this machine that props up everybody else. Oliver Anthony has hit the dream. He has 17 million hits on YouTube, 98,000 sales, the equivalent of about 14 million 700,000. So he's looking at 30 plus million streams, all organically, with no industry support, because he wrote a good song that resonates with people.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And
He's got 19 million on YouTube now.
19 million.
It's 3 million in one day.
Radio WV, where I saw this video originally, does stuff with other artists. Like, he's sort of, I hope he does well individually. I don't want to take attention away from him, but like, he is representational of a whole group of artists who probably don't get the attention from mainstream outlets because they are not exactly what they're looking for. And I think it's cool to have someone who's sort of opening the door and saying, you know, if you like, it becomes that thing. If you like this music, you can probably figure out other artists that you can support that are similar to him.
And I think, Tim, you mentioned that he didn't have industry support, but I think he has an industry support. It's just a new kind of industry. It's a decentralized creator industry.
Yeah.
Like Jack Posobiec, people that fire out his music to 100,000 views.
Well, I think the video is actually posted to some kind of music channel.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Radio W.
Radio W.
But it's small. I mean, there's another one, I think it's called Gems on VHS. Like, if you like this style of music, you can kind of find it, but I think you're not entirely wrong. It's not like the mega big studio, or I can't name any. It's very different. You might be well known in your genre, you might grow, but I don't know of anyone else who's sort of launched into this stardom from these smaller groups.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.